I was 25 years old, living in a country that I had never been to before, and I was on yet another diet. It certainly wasn't my first diet, and at that point in time, there was a slippery slope that was opening up ahead of me. Because I, like most women, had come to the conclusion, based on all of my conditioning and my programming, that I would be more valuable if I was smaller. That my worth and my self esteem and everything that was valuable about me was based on my appearance. And if I could just fit into the current beauty standards, which usually always led to being smaller, then I would finally feel enough. I would finally feel free. I would finally get all of those sensations and experiences that I wanted to have, that I was holding myself back from. It wasn't the first time that I'd been on a diet. Goodness gracious me, it had not been the first time that I had been on a diet. The first official diet that I ever went on, and I was 15. And I think of such a tender age as a beautiful 15-year-old, stepping on a set of scales that showed that I was in the triple digits and feeling mortified, absolutely riddled with shame about who I had become. So I went on my first crash diet. That first crash diet, and I lost a whole bunch of weight. We're talking 20, 25 kilos. And what happened? Everybody told me how amazing I looked. They told me and they reaffirmed to me everything that I had learned up until that point. That once I am smaller, I not only look better, but I am better. Because that's what people said to me. You are so good. You did amazing. Look at how great you are. And I believed them. Yet it was never sustainable because it was a crash diet. And those behaviors that I did in order to lose all that weight were chasing enoughness. I wanted to feel a certain way and thought that I would get there with the weight loss. It didn't last long. Over the next 10 years of my life, leading to that fateful time living overseas alone, I lost and put on 20 kilos plus at least 3 or 4 times. So by the time I hit my mid-20th, I was desperate. I had hit another wall. I had put on lots of weight. I was the heaviest I'd ever been, feeling horrible about myself. So, like I did every other time, I went on a diet and I watched what I was eating and I meticulously counted my calories. And on this one particular occasion, I was under, way under for the day. And so I knew that I had calories left to burn. And so I sidled up to the cupboard. What am I going to choose today? And I open those beautiful doors, and as if sent from heaven, a crunchy bar. 200 odd calories worth of golden deliciousness was about to hit my lips because I had room for it, and I was excited. And that first one went down, and I was totally satisfied. After months of deprivation, I was satisfied. And that sugar hit didn't make me feel like eating 15 others, did it now? It did. As the second crunchy bar went down, I don't remember noticing it all that much. More so just inhaled it. As the third crunchy bar went down, the shame started rising within me. The old familiar ideas of, I can't do this. I will never be valuable. I will never be enough. I will never be okay if I cannot do this. Yet here I am feeling completely out of control. And as I barely noticed the fourth crunchy bar paste passing through my lips, the shame bubbling within inside of me, something awoke within me in that moment. Something that would change my life for forevermore. Because once that fourth crunchy bar passed through my lips, with all the shame building and rising and all those beliefs that says that I'm not good enough, I was mortified, horrified, ashamed of myself in a way that I'd never been before. Deeper, prolonged. It was forever now. It'd been 10 years since I first lost weight and I still wasn't able to do it. I felt like a complete failure. Wanting to get away from that emotion in any way that I possibly could. I got a hair tie from my wrist, brought my hair up off my face, took myself into the bathroom and started a habit that would become my daily routine for the next 7 years. I purged that day. And I binged and I purged and I binged and I purged in the hopes that I would feel enough. For 7 years, after years, already a decade of disordered eating, for 7 years, I punished myself by watching America's Next Top Model, thinking about all the things that I could be and should be, never really understanding that all I needed to be was me. That all I needed was love. All I needed was to connect in with myself. And those many years later, the deep pain, me starting to explore myself and my own personal development and coming to the conclusion and the understanding that perhaps it wasn't me that was wrong. Perhaps it wasn't my body that was wrong. Perhaps it wasn't my appearance where my worth was. Perhaps it wasn't me that needed to change, but the society around me and the way that I viewed myself. So I embarked upon a journey. I embarked upon a journey of self-discovery, one that will continue forevermore, that continues to this day. I dove into personal development, spiritual awakening. I connected in with myself. I learned to become a coach. I studied NLP, and I started exploring what it was like to serve others and to understand our mindset and our thinking. And when I reflect upon those 7 years and the 10 years prior to those, and the 10 years since those times, how much I've grown, how much I've changed, what it really comes down to and what I want to share with you here today is that it becomes a choice. We must make a decision as to whether or not we're going to continue to believe the conditioning and the program that has been instilled within us, or are we going to create our own destiny? Are we going to choose to rise, to reject the stories that we have been told, to go against what society says that a woman should or should not be? We are the ones who get to decide that. And we are the only ones who get to make different decisions as a result of that. We are the ones, we are being called to rise. What I've learned from my journey of self-discovery thus far, I could fit in a talk much longer than 10 minutes. But some of the key elements that I think is really important for us to know, and things that have served me incredibly well on my graceful transition, the grittiness that was required for me to move from self-hate, from self-harm, into my most confident, vibrant, and self-loving self, is to understand that our thoughts and our beliefs are not fact. Just because you have been taught these things, just because somebody has conditioned you this way, does not mean that it is true. My sisters, our beliefs are made up. So we may as well make up ones that serve us, don't you think? Isn't that important? We also need to recognize that there is a big difference between the external world and the internal one. And if you spend all your time and energy focused on what everybody else thinks and what everybody else might judge you for and what everybody else expects of you, you miss the greatest opportunity to turn inwards and face yourself. Because you are the one that you have been waiting for. You are the one that needs to rescue you. No one else can do you like you, and no one else can do it for you. So block out the noise. That's exactly what it takes to have the grit, to become the most graceful version of you. You need to decide. For me, now, decades after that first young girl went on her first diet after years of already having torment for being the fat girl, I stand before you as a best-selling author. I stand before you as a speaker and a coach on a mission to revolutionize the way women and girls across the globe see themselves and their bodies so that they too can stop hiding, get out of their own ways, let go of the limitations, let go of the projections, let go of everything that they have been taught to be, so that they can finally give their unique talents and gifts to the world, just like you are. just like you are in business, because it takes courage to do what you're doing. I see you and I love you. And I'm so proud of the woman that I have become, that I now get to share my message. I get to share my love. I get to share the empowering belief systems and tools and techniques that have gotten me to become everything that I am today and everything that I know exists within inside of you. Have yourself an amazing summit. It is an honor to be here. My name is Lunaria Gaia. You can follow me on all the socials. You can listen to my podcast or find me at one of my events.